A reading from the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, strive eagerly for the greatest spiritual gifts. But I shall show you a still more excellent way. It is not jealous. It is not pompous. Believes all things. Hopes all things. Endures all things. Love never fails. Love never fails. Never fails. Never fails. This is the word of the Lord.
So let's take a peek at what all goes into a minute-and-a-half long piece. If you look at this project, you'll notice that it's about a minute 20 long. You're going to see some deactivated clips, and the reason that I have those deactivated clips is that when I'm going through, and I think I might want a clip in a certain location, but whether I'm going to want that in that location is dependent on other factors that have yet to be realized, then I'll just put that clip there, but I'll have it deactivated, which is, if you look here where I'm circling in the screen, that's a deactivated clip. If you look here where I'm circling, that's a deactivated clip. If you look here where I'm circling, that is one also. Here's another one. So that's just, they're little placeholders, but they're also little breadcrumbs I've left myself and out in case I don't want to commit to having that in that place. There's also something you can do called audition, but I have never used the audition feature in Final Cut. I'm not actually sure how I would even do it. So I'm going to play it straight through one time for you, and then after I play it, we'll get into the how-to. We'll get into the how-tos.
This, my friends, is only the beginning. Not just a wedding, but a marriage. Something very simple. The best is yet to come.
All right, there you go. Hope you liked it. That was the whole genesis was I heard this song called "Secrets of La Familia," and I was like, this would only go well in a very specific situation. So where we've got, in this video, we've got palm trees, wild dancing, beautiful visuals in the decor, couple just deeply in love. So I think all of the things really came together nicely for this, but it's really easy to have a song in mind and try to make the visuals of something match a song that's like just a little bit off. And to me, if that happens, it's really distracting, because putting a super epic movie trailer type feel when it doesn't really fit, for me, it takes my attention away from what I'm trying to look at. And obviously that's subjective. I don't think that my perception is the be-all end-all, but I do use that as my guide for what I want to create. And at the same time, I can respect somebody else saying, this is what my compass said to do. So even though I wouldn't necessarily choose a certain song for a given couple, maybe that's what somebody else felt was appropriate. Obviously, it is what they felt was appropriate because that's how they chose to score their video. So I think my point is, I use a compass that just is able to say, this feels right for this. And that compass is informed by, 15 years of doing this and having and looking at what feels right and paying attention to my body when it reacts to, is the connection between what I'm seeing and hearing, is that aligned, or is one of them trying to force on the other? Does any of this make sense? Obviously, there are times where breaking the rules is appropriate. Here's a video where there's a pretty serious church moment, and just to break up the video, I said, what can I do? There's this lull. Let's go into it actually. So we're here, and then we have kind of like a beginning build, and this beginning build dies off. It falls off from a excitement standpoint right after this look that she gives him. Oh, I love that way. That way that she looked at him on the dance floor was amazing. But I didn't want to go right into them being beautiful under a palm tree somewhere in Palm Beach. I wanted to showcase the contrast between this beautiful church and this wild, rip-roaring party. And the way that I did that was just abruptly throw a wicked guitar solo at you in a way where it's this doesn't even make sense, and what's happening, and by the time, a palate cleanser, by the time it's done, you're like, where'd that even come from? And the mother of the bride is looking right at the camera. It's a way that it broke up this video in half, because now we can go into the next build and just fly. I'm going to render this whole thing, and then we can start at the very beginning. While that's happening, how are you doing? Good? Things are pretty good with me. Just getting some editing stuff done. It's a pretty light summer, which is great. And 2025 is looking promising. So there's been some really interesting booking situations recently where I'm just noticing it's not 2018 anymore, There is a lot of new talent. There's a lot of new planning talent also. There are a lot of planners that just detest the fact that after my sister passed away, there was about 2 years where I was horrific at communicating. My follow-up was non-existent almost. My turnaround time went from 2.5, 3 months to 6. So I'm definitely seeing the effect of that. And I think that's a natural part of being in an industry. But the way that I'm able to accept that as just the way it is by doing this. I know that only I can do what I do. My filmmaking talent is not better than or worse than, but it is the way that I do it. And I know there's a demand for it. But I know there's a lot of gatekeeping and industry squabbles that kind of I'm aware of them. I don't take part in the whole social thing, especially locally. I just don't care to. I mean, I have friends that are also wedding creatives, but it doesn't interest me to try to play some social game. It just doesn't. I lean into my work. I love the work, but what informs me and my creativity is going to the park with my sons, or sitting in a sailboat on a lake with my wife. Those are the things that make me a better storyteller. We're starting off with an awesome aerial shot. This venue, which I won't even name it, this venue is unbelievably protective of their space, and so much so where you can't tag them. They're really just not flashy. They don't want to show up on social media. It's exclusive in that way, not exclusive in look at us, which I really appreciate. Awesome drone shot, a beautiful kind of lush foliage scene shot by my second Becca. So talented. Another kind of foliage feeling B-roll. Let's see, what was I gonna do with this? Okay, yeah, so I felt like having that clip with the, what are they called, Chinese lanterns? Is that politically correct? I felt like having that there was just a little bit too much in the very beginning. So that's why I had that muted. So we've got a couple of, we have got some greenery here, but then we're also seeing this like kind of curious, like, what is this dance floor? You know, it's really interestingly lit. This was kind of interesting here. Uh-oh. This was a shot. I think I was walking from my car to the venue, and I saw the groom and a bunch of other people walking nearby, and these little pockets of light were cascading through, and I just was like, hang on, before we all go in, will you just go to the back of that hallway and walk toward me? And I don't even think I asked him to like look out toward the sun, but the way that he did that, look at that. Perfect. And it was actually, I kind of knew, I wanted to hold on that shot for 10 minutes. I wanted that to be so much longer, but you know, you kind of have to respect the audience's time frame, because I feel like we don't have very much time with the collective attention span now. So anyway, it's here. I give a really, if you look, we go from the groom being there to watch this part of the dance floor. He's there and he's on the dance floor. That was possible. That was only possible because this shot here was only possible because I had the earlier shot of him walking in the hallway. If I didn't have that earlier shot of him in the hallway, your eyes would have to look in this big frame. You'd have to look all over that frame to see what I'm trying to show you. And I don't want that. I want your eyes to be in that one spot. So knowing that your eyes are focused, not focused, your eyes are directed to, your eyes are already here in the center of the frame. Then, next clip, your eyes are right here also. And that's why it works. So this, I don't know, what is this, 2 or 3 second little montage. I had a little grouping. So let's just call this like, here, we'll call this is a grouping. And in this grouping, I think every clip was probably, I want to say 2 seconds long. And it's just like, okay, I know it's a big ask. I know I'm asking you to go from watching something that is actually interesting to you. I'm asking you to go from that to looking at a wedding video, especially one that's delivered horizontally, so it's requiring that you turn your phone. I know that's a big ask. And so when I have these clips that, yeah, they're beautiful, and yeah, you know, they're inspired, they're motivated, they fit, they also just need to be cut so much. And so that's what this is. This is like a little visual, like a little teaser. You just kind of see, a little blip of each of these really cool moments. And then the light of, what I love is the light just kind of, you get an idea of the light color palette, and then boom, into Mother of the Bride party animal. Now, this was cool. We already saw in this little montage, we already saw a little blip of beer pong throw. And now we see like, boop. We see the little boop. It's kind of like a little callback to what you just, it's a little connection to what you just saw. That little boop works well because what you just saw of the throw happened, you know, less than a second ago. That's why it works. If that were 3 seconds later, there wouldn't be anything to really, it wouldn't be a callback like it is. Party time, up, hands, up. So up, hands, up, hands up drone, and then pointing. This trailer, in the edit, what happened was so many little hand movements and motions and movement and spins. So many of those all came together in, I'm not even quite sure how this happens, but when these little moments of movement and looks that somebody gives another person, or a little hand thing, when they happen, it's just like pure alignment. It's like, you could sit down at the edit and have this idea of, okay, here's how I'm going to make this. Here's how this is going to go. I want this to go here, and I have this shot list, and so this has to go here, then this, then this, then this. I think it's a lot more freeing to say, let the edit reveal to me what it wants to be. And that's what you're seeing here, is these little points and movements and hand things and looks that people give each other. I didn't go through, I'm not going through going clip to clip and being like, okay, then the next clip, and then the next clip I want to have this, and then the next clip. It's like, it comes from just playing with them, and playing with them, and playing with them, and playing with them. So, magic, pretty much. Point, and then flower dress, boom, beat there, decor, beautiful heartfelt moment where their heads touched. Pretty sure this was unprompted too, and you know how I feel about unprompted moments. When there's a moment like that where they just can like come together and be like, whoa, today's a big day. I love those. And actually, I don't know. What am I filming them through? Should we go back to that raw clip? Take us back. Let's see. Let's see. Here is that clip. What is that? Oh, is that a mirror? Yeah, that's a mirror. Where is... Oh, here. What is that? I don't even know. Oh, I love that so much. So that's an example of like, I want to get the safe, but then I also want to shoot it from what is pulling my eye. So if like a TV is reflecting, or if I can pull it drape across the lens just a little bit to give like a little something interesting something, I'll do it. But I also want to be able to show like, okay, I shot it straight, the color in this room is kind of wacky, so don't mind me. So I'm shooting, I shot that straight on here, but this was what I liked the most. This little, what is that? I think it's a window or a mirror. We'll just go with that. All right, so here we are. We see the couple, and now we're seeing like a lot of up and down. Boom. This is when I did not want to show just portrait-y, aren't they beautiful? I've always been somebody that kind of goes, all right, what's everybody doing? And how do I go the opposite necessarily? I mean, probably when I was a teenager, yeah. But now I want to know, okay, what's everybody doing and why? That's interesting to me. So if I can't answer the why, then I'll just make my own why. And in this case, I knew the move that would be easy is like showing portrait beauty shots. But I just wanted to like go off the rails, and that's what we did. And by we, I mean me. All right, cool. And now we're back to it. It's another build-up. A lot of up and down motion, a lot of movement, a lot of sparkly, explosive things flying out of hands, hands flying together, lighting up, hands touching. And we're going to break again here. Break here. And you don't know what's coming yet. Now. And you'll notice at the very end of that, at the very end, instead of going on the beat, I go just a little faster than the beat. And that just makes, all of a sudden, your eyes are seeing, you know, the ears and the eyes go, okay, well, as a viewer, he's showing one clip on the beat, and then the eyes start seeing something a little faster. And so pretty soon it's you're paying more attention because it's not what you expected. Because if you're watching, let's say you've already watched for 1 minute 10 seconds. Yeah. All right, you've watched for 1:10. I've got your attention. But the last thing I want to do is lose it right at the end. And so for me, the way that I did that is, instead of having the shots be on beat, 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 I had the shots be just a little quicker than that. And that, for me, keeps my attention going, wait, what's he going to do? Because I thought it was going to be on the beat, but I'm not so sure now. And that's why you see what you see, which is this. Cool. Let's go through, take a peek. I want to go through this, and I want to see, it says there's 150-ish items in this 1:20 video. I want to go through here and look at how many how many drone shots and how many gimbal shots you see. All right, so I'm going to press play.
This, my friends, is only the beginning. Not just a wedding, but a marriage. Something very simple. The best is yet to come.
My point is that none of those shots, aside from the orbiting shot of the band leader and one of the decor chandelier, none of those needed to have a gimbal. And you really only see 2 drone shots, period. My point is, for me, it's not about the movement I'm making the camera do. It's more about what I'm capturing happening in the frame. And if I'm just fully immersed in a wedding weekend, with my eye in the eyepiece and my other eye kind of looking around, seeing what's around me and being fully present, that is so much more valuable to me as a creator and to the client as my client. That's so much more valuable than being like, okay, look guys, I've got this gimbal, and this is the RS5, and this the battery goes here, and it's this big, the size of a small Volkswagen, and also it does this thing, and it does your taxes for you, and then it lights up here to tell you the battery level, and then it holds everything totally still, and then it's got a light here, and you can have this thing that rigs over your shoulder, and then it holds this, and then it's an exoskeleton, and then it makes me look like a mecha biosuit, and then I can also go to war in Afghanistan with it. Dude. No. Just handhold. In-body image stabilization's here for you. Just handhold it. You know what I mean? Come on. We look like we're ready to invade a foreign country. We don't need the stuff. And you know what happens when you do the stuff? Is that instead of looking at the bride and groom or bride and bride, the guests are looking at you. Because you look like a fool. That's what's happening. So, some people are like, you're gonna hate that. I just said that. But I did. Let go of all this stuff. And I'm sorry that you're getting... I know that these are now brand deals. You know, I know that like GlideCam can't wait to get you to rep their new thing. But you could go with a Canon T3i and a 18-55 f5.6. You could go make an incredible wedding video. Like no question. And I think the more we let go of the gear talk and the more we talk about like figuring out how to be present in our own bodies, I think then we start to make the work we're meant to make. Like what does it mean for me to be here and embody a consciousness that is here, not for me to be here and play the role of who I think you want me to be playing. Everything changed in my business when I let myself sit and experience a moment for the sake of experiencing it as an artist, not as like the client hired this idea of Charlie, let me play to this thing that they have in their mind. And, you know, that was a self-imposed limitation for sure. But everything changed when I let myself put that idea to rest. And when I gave up like the gear game, because the gear game took me out of right now. The gear game made me go, okay, well, this battery, I got to discharge, and then, oh, something's happening over there. I got to capture. Now, what I can do is go, cool, new battery, boop, 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 and I'm ready to go. I'm shooting again. Off we go. I know that gear is exciting. I know that having stuff that looks cool can be in demand to a client. I know. But the fewer things that you put between the experience happening in front of you and the viewer, the better. The fewer things that you put between the experience happening in front of you, unfolding, and the viewer watching that, the better. Because our job is to go and go to an event, absorb the energy, and then translate that energy in an edit. But when we go to the event and we're absorbing the energy with all these toys and these things, and when people know you're around them, nobody wants to be themselves when there's a mechanical biosuit with lights and buttons and batteries right next to them. It's awkward. You know, nobody wants to act naturally when there's a lens pointed at them 5 feet away. You know what I mean? It's just a truth. So if you want to get totally candid imagery, completely candid, where people forget that you're there entirely. All right. Because I'm passionate about this, let me show you what I mean. But here's, sorry for all the kids out there. I have a Dinosaur 1DX Mark II that needs to be cleaned. So if I'm here and let's say it's at cocktail hour and I'm, hey, what's up? Yeah, just act naturally. Yeah, no big deal. I'm just a foot from your face. Yeah, just act naturally. Yeah. That's not going to happen. But watch this. if you are my subject and you know squat about cameras, if I turn this way, check it out. Oh, I'm just looking at my settings. It helps if you take if you have like an indicator light on your camera. You don't want that blinking red. Well, here you go. So which is less obtrusive? Or I started doing that because I was like, man, I don't like the way that videographers get in people's stuff and they're like, do this thing again, and hey, can we do the first look over? So I wanted to get the most natural things happening, and the way to do that as somebody who's 6'4" is to just look like I'm not doing it. But I guess if you see this video and then you see me at a wedding, you'll know what I'm doing. Oh, I can't win them all. All right, that was that. That was that trailer. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I want to do it again, so make sure to come back again. See you next time.